Good morning, Charles Van Morgan Show. This is Charles Van Morgan. We are Unbridled News Live, so we're going to use what you got. The rooster in the morning, social behavior can be predicted, much like the rooster crowing in the morning. So you can hear the rooster crowing. Charles Van Morgan in the morning. This morning, we are going to, there you go. So we got to use what we got in this social movement. There you go, the rooster crowing. Social behavior, much similar to animal behavior, but we're not animals, we're human beings, can be predicted. Charles Van Morgan in the morning, Unbridled News Show. Today, we got a special show for you today. It's about what we're doing. Talking about social movements. And we're going to break it down for you. So, remember the acronym? CRUSADE. That's what breaks down a social movement. A social movement is a conscious effort to resist or make change that is usually, a lot of times, unconventional, and it is social, meaning it involves other people, and it is a movement. I love this flag, the flag of the United States of America. So come on in, Charles Van Morgan in the morning. The Charles Van Morgan Show. And it is sometimes, to the establishment, appalling because, and it's aspirational, and it is dynamic, and it is engaging. So remember CRUSADE when you think about social movements. Now, social movements just don't start on their own. They require conscious effort by people, and they work best when they have to have resources. There's a resource mobilization theory that says whether or not social movements are successful or not. So a social movement is a group of people, collective group of people, which I'm trying to get together here, a collective group of people that have some similar goals, that want to resist or affect change in the social order in their government. And this is a worldwide order, a worldwide social movement. No matter where you're at, you can have a social movement in your country. I'm about to explain to you how to do it, how to vote. Voters of truth enraged. So we are seeking to make change in the society, in the established government orders, depending on where you're at, to the degree that you need to make change. I know in Tennessee, this is, in my view, and I haven't lived in other states, the most wicked, corrupt, crooked government, people in power. Government is good, but the most crooked, corrupt people in government power in the nation, and probably in the world, are in the state of Tennessee and Tennessee power in government. So we're seeking a social movement, a collective of people to get together, and that's what I'm asking you to do. That's part of the communication, is part of a social movement. We have to go outside institutional channels because they have blocked institutional channels, meaning the government's not working for us. In order for us to get our rights, in order for us to get what the founding fathers, the Constitution, said that we don't have to go through government to get, it's endowed in us by the Creator, and the government is blocking our unalienable rights. The right to make a living. You pick and choose the right that you have, that the government blocks. And in your country, what is the right that the government is blocking? So we go through institutional channels. For example, me trying to get my law license to practice law, to represent Tennesseans and to represent people in courts of law. I went through institutional channels to try to get my law license. I deserve that. That's an inalienable right to make a living. But the state government has blocked me from that. And that's not just a personal problem, as they would have you to believe. It is a social problem, a major social problem, because albeit I can represent myself in courts, and that's another problem too, because their courts are rogue. That is a social problem. Judges are the ones that denied me the institutional channels that I should have been licensed to practice law. So it's a social problem that I don't have law license. And you pick your social problem that you have a right and the government keeps you from doing it, or limits what you're supposed to be allowed to do, or the governmental control that the government illegitimately has on us. Voters of truth enraged, and it's happening all over the nation, all over the world, where governments are using technology and means to unrightly, unfairly, against our inalienable God-given rights to control us. I mean, they got technology everywhere, following us, documenting us, collecting data on us, and using that to control us. Truth is a movement to stop that, to give us our rights, regardless of what information they have on us, to make it a more fair, safe, humane society, and take it away from these elite people in power that are gluttons. So it's a social problem. Make sure I don't fall. It's a social problem, which would be a personal problem. It's a social problem because I can't practice law to defend the public. So the government has intervened in the public's right to have an honest lawyer and cut me off from representing you all in courtrooms. Now, I can tell you what I would do in a legal situation, and I can tell you what the book says about legal situations, and I can't give out legal advice, but I can tell you what the book says because I've memorized it, passed the bar twice. But I can't go in a courtroom with my personality, my abilities and training, my life-learned experience and knowledge, and go in there in front of a podium and in front of a jury argue in your favor for criminal or social cases. I can't do that. I can't do that in state courts. The Board of Law Examiners has denied me unrightly. Now, they don't even like me saying that. They don't appreciate me saying that they have denied me wrongly. And I'm going to explain to you how they've denied me wrongly. By facts, they've denied me my law license wrongly and did an injustice. Lisa Perley and the Board of Law Examiners, Mr. Long, the Board of Law Examiners, has done a wrong thing and denied me and you an inalienable right. I'm going to explain that to you. Now, they are lawyers, and they word things and write things, but when you write lies, and I can point out this is what you said, but this is reality, this is the truth, then the Board of Law Examiners, the government, is wrong. And they're denying me and the public a right to be represented adequately in their courts of law, and only letting lawyers that protect the government's interest. And lawyers should protect their client's interest. And the Board of Law Examiners won't let them do that. And so that is a violation of the inalienable right to have honest, fair attorneys in a courtroom, and the government blocking attorneys, blocking fair, honest attorneys, defending you against them. They're part of the judiciary, Board of Law Examiners, and they adjudicated in favor of the governor, in favor of the government, in favor of the power, with lies, and said, we don't care, we'll make excuses. And that's one way they do it, by false propaganda. And that's what this channel's for, to get rid of the false propaganda. So they've denied you the right to have honest attorneys in a courtroom. So that is a social problem. You can't fight the government with honest attorneys. They control who guards the hen house, and it's them guarding the hen house. So let's see how many people got in here. Thank y'all for joining me. We're going to talk about social movements today. A very interesting topic that can change the world regardless of what they do. So let's see what we got in here. Thank y'all so very much. If anyone knows where this is, they should call the non-emergency line and report this. Okay. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. You know, I mean, I have a, let me answer this. I have a Master of Arts in sociology. I mean, I'm a little above your insults and your little funny stuff. If you think this is funny, what the government is doing, then you're on the right channel to make dirty comments, because every comment helps. But I have been educated out of letting nasty comments affect me, because I have a degree in sociology. If you think about it, I know about bullies and all that stuff, and I know how to deal with it. So it don't work. You're the one that's funny, trying to intimidate a sociologist with social comments. I think that the sociologist, which is me, knows don't let that bother you. So thank y'all for coming in. We're going to talk about truth, about the social movement, vote, and join me, and we're going to engage in some activity, probably, if we can get down to the bridge, and talk about but you need to go home and not wander around in the night. Okay, I'm not wandering around in the night. I'm going to a specific place, and I'm talking about a specific subject that I have a degree in. What do you have a degree in? No name idiot. A troll. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, KYLES 15076. That's exactly what they are. But trolls help. Trolls help because they increase engagement. So thank you. So Charles Van Morgan Show. Broadcasting live in the morning. We may pop up any time of day covering news. We're talking about social movements today. Social movements begin conscious efforts by people in thinking. You know, you got to think. You got to think about things. And when the government is denying you your rights, inalienable rights, taking away your rights, and look around at society and think about how things are going in your country. I don't know, I'm not there. I know how they're going in the state of Tennessee. The government in the state of Tennessee has turned rogue on us. They're crooked as hell. They protect the elite and punish the poor. The rich get richer and the poor get prison. That's the way it is in Tennessee. It's gotten worse and worse. Using technology to further control and to benefit the rich at the expense of the poor. So you've just seen where they have cut out food money for little children. Now they're starting to slowly get it back. But like Jim Jones, that's a little test phase where you used to have tests, you know, drinking the Kool-Aid. Jim Jones, the Methodist minister that was claimed he was, that's what he started out as. He, let me make sure I can get on the sidewalk here. The Methodist minister that established Jonestown, the government, it was his Jonestown, he was the government, and he did test samples where he had people drink Kool-Aid days before he actually did the real program. So you know, they've cut out food stamps, and then now they're having it back. And what else are they going to do next? You know, during COVID, they shut down businesses and churches. So the ultimate control, and the government thinks that we're under their ultimate complete control. And no, not in America. In America, our form of government is we're in control of the government. The government just provides for organization of society as we want it, not as they want it. Now that's how the founding fathers, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, set it up. Not for the government to take complete total control of us. So that's what's going on today. That they're taking complete control over us in order to benefit themselves at our expense. So that's what we're fighting. Government corruption. People in power corruption. Now government is good. Government, we have to have government, but we don't have to have the government that we got in power now. And they've got, you say, well, they're voted into office. That's what people want to know. That's not right either. It's a proxy of people. It's a proxy of people that they pay and give government benefits to spread false propaganda. So it's a government that's propped up by false propaganda, by false information, by people believing that they're a good form of government, that they represent and protect our unalienable rights. They do not represent our rights. They represent themselves, and they got a proxy of voters that lie to you and tell you that they do. So let's get across the road here. So yeah, there's no cars coming. Make sure we don't get killed. So we'll continue this dialogue. So if you like the show, we're talking about social movements. We're talking about power to you, the people. We're talking about the vote movement. Nonviolent. See, they don't like me saying that. They want me to say something violent. But we're going to do something violent. We're going to do stuff unconventional. That's not normal people do. We're going through institutional channels. Institutional channels aren't going to work. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to go. You can take them to court over your rights. You're not going to win because they got a judge lined up. That's not a biased judge. The judge is on their side. The judge is on their team. He's going to vote for him every time. He got promoted by the leading violator of your constitutional civil rights, Governor Bill Lee, the Christian governor. Jim Jones, Methodist. Bill Lee, Christian. Same thing. Same thing. Now, I'm not saying Bill Lee's going to convince everybody to commit suicide, but he certainly did cut out food stamps for little children and could have funded it with the emergency fund. Other states did, and he said he couldn't do that. So he lied. I mean, I'm not going to say Christian liar. That don't necessarily goes together. But if he's a Christian, he certainly didn't act like one. I don't know his heart, but I know he doesn't act like one. And I know there are some similarities between him and Jim Jones. It's Governor Bill Lee's bill, and it's not a pretty place to be. And I would like to say great things about Mr. Bill Lee. I would like to have a governor that was an adequate, decent human being. And I don't know his heart. He may be a Christian. He doesn't live like one. The life that he's lived has been very destructive to you and Tennesseans. That's just the blatant, honest truth. Conscientiously, you need to look around and see what the heck is wrong. Or we don't make any changes. So, welcome. Come on in today. This is Charles Van Morgan Show. We're going to talk about an important topic about social movements, about changing the world, and how we can do that, and why we need to do that. We need to think consciously about what's going on in society and about what we want to change. One of the specific things that we need to change in the state of Tennessee is the corrupt people in power. That's why we can't go through institutional means and be effective, because it won't work, because the game is rigged. The referees are paid off in the other side's favor. Like you see the NBA, you know, they got players that are losing for money. And in our government, we got referees that are bought and paid. Our judiciary is not unbiased judiciary. They're on the side of the governor, and they rule in the governor's favor. So you won't get a fair court hearing in a Tennessee courtroom, and you won't get a fair attorney most of the time, because attorneys are approved by them. And if they obey them, then that's fine. You can't even run down a judge in Tennessee. They got rules about that. That you can say you disagree with their decision and that you'll appeal it, but if you know inside information like I do, like the judge allowed witness tampering, or the judge violated the Fifth Amendment, wouldn't let somebody defend themselves, and wouldn't give somebody a fair trial, and you can present factual evidence of how the fair trial was violated, then they won't listen to you. You can't do that. They'll even use the complaint system against you. So we still need to go through institutional channels. I'm not saying don't. We need to go so that we can show that, hey, we're trying to do this too, and bringing forth evidence, but you won't listen to us. So when you go through institutional channels, then what you do is you use how they violated the institutional procedure set out by the Constitution, how they violated that, and why you got an inverse ruling against you that's not appropriate because they violated the Constitution. The institution violated the Constitution. So that's one reason why we need to go through institutional channels. Say if you go through institutional channels, they don't work, why do you want to go through them? Because it's evidence that, hey, we have this case, this is our rights, and we're standing on our rights, like that I should be able to defend you in a court of law. I'm standing on my rights. I finished law school, passed the bar. I'm honest, never been convicted of any crime, never been convicted of any crime specifically of an infamous crime of dishonesty. So I should be able to go in the courtroom and defend you. And I went through their institutional channels. I went through them twice. And it's a long, hard process to study for the bar, and takes a lot of time to study, about 6 months to a year to study for the bar exam, to remember all the legal issues. And it takes 3.5, 4 years to get through law school, and 4 years before that to get a bachelor's degree, and before you can even go to law school. And then it takes a lot of work and effort to even apply and be admitted into law school. So I fought through the system. I went to the first law school I went to. They lowered my grades illegitimately, and I contested that through their system. But see, their systems don't work. They're not designed to listen. They're designed to find a reason to reject your honest effort and deny you. That's what their systems are set up for. And so when somebody comes up, hey, I got a right here, y'all denying me, they're ready for that. They're ready for that. You think, well, the courts will be fair. And I'm 61. And it took a lifelong experience. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I thought the court system would be fair, at least halfway decent. I didn't think they'd lie to your face and tell you to like it. And if you don't like it and won't go along, hold the gun to your face. And I thought it would work out, that people were honest and fair in the government, that they wouldn't be in government if they weren't fair and honest. But you find, and you will learn through life, that is not the case. It is absolutely not the case. Now, you decide in your area whether you need voters of truth and rage, because they violate the truth and rule for people that back up their falsehoods so that they can get your property, so that they can get everything you own, so that they can get your rights, so that they limit your freedom, limit your speech, limit everything you do. And they know what you're doing. They've got control mechanisms. They got control mechanisms all over the place. They control you with your cell phone. They know where you're at. They just approved in the city of Knoxville an intensive surveillance system where they take pictures of your license plates and cars at all intersections. And every place in Knoxville paid millions of your tax dollars to monitor you and everybody that comes to the city of Knoxville. And it's not to monitor you for public safety. It's to monitor you for control, so they know where you're at and they know what you're doing. Now, they could have used that money to fix the bridge over there, but they don't want you to travel. They want to restrict your freedom and your rights. So if you think that the government is in it for you, in it to what they should be in it for, in it to what they have agreed to be in it for, then let me explain to you. I'm not going to tell you you're on the wrong channel, because I want everybody. Then you're wrong. And let me explain to you how the government is not in it for you. Absolutely not in it for you. You can tell by the tracks that they leave behind. They're going to where it benefits them. Every time, in every place, in every how they can do it. And that's called government corruption. And they take our rights away from us. They take our rights away from us. Very harmful to us in society. Make it more dangerous to us and other people. And through knowledge in sociology, through knowledge in criminology, through knowledge in the legal system, and experiencing it day by day, and through knowledge in getting a doctor of jurisprudence in the law. You can take every bit of my legal education, every bit of knowledge, every bit of rules, every bit of case law, every bit of research, every bit of stuff that's been around in the legal field. Since the 16th century, some of the legal concepts have survived the test of time. You can take all that stuff that judges are supposed to rely on, that attorneys rely on, all the legal principles solidified in stone and ice, in stone that have been around for decades, that you think, well, these are the facts, and the same facts as me, I can go into court and I'll win this case. And you can go and throw them in the river. They mean absolutely nothing. They don't mean anything, because you have rogue judges sitting on the bench that will change the facts, twist the law, and find a way to rule in the government's favor. Now, I hate to tell you that, but that's just the damn truth. The very few attorneys that are judges and attorneys out there, they know this. They know this. They will, if you press too hard on them, they'll get rid of you. If you press too hard on them, they'll defame you and put you in jail. And that's the state of the legal system in the state of Tennessee, the system that controls the government, the legal system. That's the state. It's in complete, total, you want me to say uncontrolled? No, it's in complete, total control of them, the rulings, the outcomes of cases. The facts don't matter. They win every damn time. That is a major social problem in the state of Tennessee that we need to tackle and we need to deal with. And my personal problem, that's what social problems can be, personal problems. When one person is denied a law license because of unethical conduct, that's a problem personally for that person. When one person is denied a law license not because of ethical conduct and previous institutional wrongs that got them there, and then institutional people like Barbara Zulica commit crimes and are given their law license, that is not a personal problem. That is a social problem that affects you and affects every Tennessean. When they have foreigners from other countries that practice law in the state of Tennessee that weren't even born here, that we would have had to fight to keep the courthouse doors open, that don't have a birth certificate, don't have a selective service registration, that in their argument to get their law license, their argument was they should get their law license so that they can help a foreign country in our courts in Tennessee. That is a social problem. And when they make it precedents, they're making new legal precedents where they don't even have to change the legal cases and the legal precedents. They're changing the legal precedents where foreigners, people from other countries, you see ICE around, the news it's a diversion. ICE is around deporting illegal aliens, and you think that something's been done about it. While in secret, they're not telling you this. That's a diversion. News media saying, hey, they're getting rid of these illegal people, and crime's going down, and everybody's the feel-good thing about it. But what's going on in secret, I can tell you. What's going on in secret is this. Every day by the thousands, they're getting these illegal aliens, and they're giving them wrongly legal status. So they're making them legal, so ICE can't come and get them. And they shouldn't be making them legal, because some of them are criminals. And they're over here not to blend in with American society, not to follow the Constitution, not for the Constitution, you know, our First Amendment, Second Amendment, our Fourth Amendment, right to have our persons, houses, and effects against unreasonable seizure by the government. They're not here to enforce those rights. They're here to bring their other country over here and take over our rights, and being given a legal paper so that they can do that. So you see ICE out every day, and you see them on the news, and they're printing that heavy and showing you, hey, get appeased, everything's okay. The Trump administration is taking care of this, and what needs to be done is being done. But behind the scenes, behind the scenes every day in American cities all across this country under socialist people with rogue religions that want to kill all of us. They're coming from other countries over here bringing their false ideology, bringing their anti-constitutional beliefs, illegally coming here. Illegally, not crossing the border legally, illegally coming here. And you say, well, illegal people can't take over our government. Illegal people can't be citizens. Illegal people can't do that. That's not true what you're saying. It is true. It is true. Because who makes people legal? I can't give somebody a certificate and say you're legal, or I can't give somebody a certificate and say you're illegal, and I can't say you're illegal and grab them and drag them back across the border and say don't come back over here. I can't do that. I'm a citizen of the United States of America that has constitutional rights. Right now I have constitutional rights. How long will that last? How long will that last? So what I'm saying is, in the newspaper, and this is a grave social problem that needs to be fought, and we don't need to fight these illegal aliens. We need to get a government that stops giving them legal status. So see, the government, people in government power that are rogue for their own benefit, they got a voter base. They got a voter base, and they don't see things like me and you. People in the government power don't see things like me and you. They don't see things, they don't agree with the Constitution. They claim they do. They raise their hand and they lie. They lie. The governor had a meeting with the China president in the Oval Office, or not in the Oval Office, in the governor's mansion, Xi Jinping, and talking about bringing foreign businesses over here with their illegal aliens buying up Tennessee property. So people in government power control who's legal and who's not legal. So they can come over here and they can give them legal status. See, somebody late for work flying. So see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. They're illegal for all practical purposes. They're illegal. They came across without any permission. They ran across the border, invaded our country. They invaded our country. They don't have a birth certificate, don't have a selective service registration for all practical purposes. Legitimately, they are illegal people. They don't belong here. They shouldn't be here. But illegitimately, to protect them, these people in government power that have the authority, albeit wrongly, they shouldn't have been elected, have the authority to give them legal status. So they give them a piece of paper and say, you're legal, even though legitimately they shouldn't be here. So you see ICE out arresting people that haven't been given legalized papers, but they will. They will. You'll see more and more illegal aliens from foreign countries go to our road courtrooms in Tennessee and in cities across Tennessee and get a judge to give them legal status. And they shouldn't have legal status, but they're given legal status. So according to the judges in Tennessee courts and the people in power in Tennessee, they are legitimate, but for all practical purposes, for legitimate purposes, they're not legal. They're really not legal. They shouldn't have been here, and they shouldn't be given legal status. Now, that's just a small part of the problem. Now, so you won't hear this anywhere else. You won't hear this anywhere else. This is Charles Van Morgan, Unbridled News. It's the truth. They're appeasing you. Hey, look at all these illegal aliens they're arresting, showing all the violence against them, trying to put the propaganda out that they're being mistreated. They shouldn't have been here in the first damn place. They shouldn't have been here in the first damn place. So what's really happening? Behind these scenes, Unbridled News, behind the scenes, and you see little bitty snips of it. Behind the scenes, they're going to courts, and they got the judges bought and paid for. Behind the scenes, they're going to courts and getting a piece of paper that says they're legitimate by a rogue judge and says, hey, got this paper, ICE, you can't get me, and ICE can't get them. Because the government has intervened and said, although you don't have a birth certificate, although you shouldn't be here, you illegally came over here, you're a citizen. We bestow citizenship on us against what the populace wants. The problem with that is they get more rights than you. So the fact that they're citizens, that they came over here legally, didn't go through formal channels and got citizenship, that's a small part of the problem. The bigger problem is what they're doing. And you say, why is the government doing that? The government's doing that for votes. Citizenship for votes. They can't vote for these rogue people in government office if they don't have citizenship. And they shouldn't have citizenship, so they give it to them. It's called election fraud, election interference. They outvote you. There's more illegal immigrants coming over. Citizens, they're going to change the dynamics of this country. Not one that favors the Constitution, one that favors a foreign country. There's more than one way to invade a country. One way is through the legal judicial system. And that's what they're doing in America. Now, I'm not against immigrants, legal people coming over here. They're even legal immigrants that came over here the right way, that crossed the border with permission, that went through the legal process, legitimately don't even like what's going on because they had to pay a price. These illegal people are robbing and invading our country and then giving what they stole by a court document that says they got it. That's like somebody going into the bank, stealing millions of dollars, and after the fact, after they stole millions of dollars, they're being able to give a piece of paper that says that $1 million is theirs. Forget about the people they've defrauded in the bank, millions of dollars that people lost. If you go to court, a judge has said, no, that's their money. Forget about them stealing it. Forget about them coming over here illegally. Forget about all that. ICE can't get them. Law enforcement can't get them. They can't go to jail because I say that money is theirs. Now, they shouldn't be theirs. They didn't earn it. They don't have a birth certificate, but all across this country, behind the scenes, they're giving these illegal people that have run across the border, come across here secretly, come across here, and they shouldn't have been here. They're giving them a legal status where ICE can't get rid of them because what they stole, people in government power, Governor Bill Lee is giving it to them. The legislature in Tennessee is giving it to them, what you've earned by your birthright. They're taking it away from you. They're taking it away from you. And that's the honest truth that's going on behind the scenes, unbridled news that they won't tell you. Now, if YouTube kicks me off here for telling you the truth, and they very well might, I don't know, they demonetize some of my videos. That's how you know you're stepping on some toes. And I'm not saying anything that's not verifiable. So I'll be on Telegram or Rumble. I'll get the message out. That's part of a social movement, is getting the message out. We're talking about social movements. We're talking about a serious problem that we need to fight. Illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants. Also, some of them have a piece of paper that says that they're legitimate. And some of them are, I'm not saying all of them, and that's just part of the problem. The fact that illegal immigrants snuck across the border, get a piece of paper from a judge that says they're illegal, that's not the seriousness of the problem. That's the surface. That's how they're doing the second step. It's very dangerous to you. That is a major problem, and I can tell you times, dates, names, and photographs. And we will. So let's see how many people we got on here. This is Charles Van Morgan. We'll continue with the dialogue, talking about social movements. And we need to get a social movement to get the Constitution, to get our rights back, our constitutional rights. Our courts, our road courts in Tennessee are taking away our constitutional rights. We'll go through institutional channels. They're not going to work. Gather the evidence when you go through their court system, when you go through legal channels. Gather the evidence of why you had this right and the government said, no, you don't have this right. Gather the evidence why they're taking your rights away. That's what I did. They denied me the right to practice law, to represent you. That makes it not a personal problem, it's a social problem for you. Because they only let lawyers that agree not to run down or not to expose crooked judges, and they only allow lawyers that won't write out briefs. They have a rule against criticizing the court system, writing out a brief. So you can't expose government corruption. They've written out a rule that you can't do that if you're inside the system. So if you're in the system, you can't expose the system. They won't let you. They'll kick you out of the system. So I can expose the system. I have been inside it, and I know it from the inside out, so I can expose it. So we'll go into the second stage of what they're doing and why we need to fight the government, the conscious thinking about some of the rogue stuff that's going on. And this is just one of the things the government's doing against us. This is just a small piece of the pie that's so very alarming. This is just one problem. They're allowing foreigners to take over our country with a diversionary tactic that they're getting rid of a lot of illegal aliens when they're getting rid of the ones that they haven't gotten a piece of paper to yet that says they're legal. And that's the effort behind all this, the diversionary tactic. So we'll get into, we'll tell you the second step. Thank y'all for joining me, Charles Van Morgan Show. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And what we need to do is start this social movement. Power to you, the people. And vote. The social movement is VOTE, Voters of Truth Enraged. And if you live in Tennessee, Voters of Tennessee Enraged. Or when we get in power and able to affect change, and I'll explain to you how social movements can change the world through institutional and non-institutional channels. Voters of Truth Encouraged. We want people to vote based on the truth, not the institutional false narratives that benefit them. They're selling you a bunch of propaganda, selling you a bunch of lies, diverting your attention, being deceptive, lying, cheating, robbing, stealing from you. And I'm here, unbridled, to tell you that the truth about what's really going on and what you need to do about it. What you need to do about it. The first step is to realize, look around what's going on. And if you think that ignorance and freedom go together, as Thomas Jefferson and George Washington said, they don't go together. They don't go together. So if you remain ignorant, and I'm not saying people on here are ignorant, a lot of you know what I'm talking about, then you're not going to get your freedoms. They're taking them away slowly every day, flooding this country with illegal immigrants. And I'll tell you about the second part that's even worse. That's even worse. Because an illegal immigrant that got over here illegally, that got a judge to give him a piece of paper that says he's legal when he doesn't have a birth certificate. He doesn't have a selective service registration, but the judge gave him legal status. That's not really a major problem. Now, it is for people that came over here legally, foreigners that came over here legally. But if they're working, earning a living, helping society, benefiting, no, it's not right. But that's not as big a deal as the second part of that. And the second part of that is what's really extremely, very frightening big deal that we need to protest and contest. And we'll tell you what that is. So, Charles Van Morgan Show, thank you all for coming. We broadcast live usually every morning. In the past few months, we're coming up on 1.2 million people and growing. We got more outreach than local news channels. So our social movement is growing. And when we get to the bridge, we'll spell it out for you what a social movement is and exactly what we're doing. And we'll get our little podium, which is, our podium is the Henley Street Bridge, because they won't let me in a podium in a courtroom because they control the courtroom for themselves against you. So we'll present the truth to the world, and that's what the government fears. That's what people in power fear, is somebody getting the truth out. Somebody telling the other side of the story, the truthful side of the story, truth. They don't want to hear that, and they have sanctioned me for putting out the truth. It ain't even lies, I can even prove it. And they want me to agree to lie. And that's what the government wants me to do. People in power, people that swear to uphold the Constitution, want me to agree to lie. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. It's no, thank you. You need to resign from your office and turn yourself into the jail. You're a bunch of dirty liars. So, we're coming up on our welcome sign here. I'll tell you the second part of the illegal alien phenomenon that they're not telling you, and how dangerous that is, and spell out a social movement. Remember Remember the acronym CRUSADE. If you're just coming in, Charles Van Morgan in the Morning Show. It's actually the Charles Van Morgan Show. We're just broadcasting in the morning right now because that's where we get most of our viewers. Trying to get a message out, trying to get a social movement started. The social movement is what the government hates. They want me to say something. They want me to say something criminal so that they can come and arrest me, or something that they can construe as criminal. But the social movement is power to you, the people. This is the V.O.T.E movement. Vote, voters of truth, enraged. It's the V.O.T.E movement. See, they don't like that. They don't like me telling you to vote because they got their little proxy of voters that they pay to vote, and then the little proxy gets other people to deceive other people into voting. So they don't really have the vote, and they don't want me to wake people up. So here we go. Here we go. Welcome, welcome. Charles Van Morgan Show. So we use said hi, you know, yeah. Okay, so we got a bunch of haters in here, so that's a positive sign. Doesn't have, yeah, that's a positive sign. They already built this one, okay. So yeah, that's a positive sign. We got haters in here. So everyone, welcome, come on in. Like, share, comment, and like, share, comment, and subscribe. So, we're talking about social movements today. We're not going to talk about Charles Van Morgan Show. We're not going to talk about the Epstein files. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, I'm being funny. We're not going to talk about the Epstein files. That's what they want you to talk about. So look at what they got on the news, and you think about that and focus on that, because that's what they want. Now, Epstein's dead. He's not hurting anybody right now. He's probably burning in hell for all the people that he mistreated. But we're not talking about the Epstein files. So if I get a bunch of views for talking about the Epstein files, I'm not going to do it, because that's not important. So like, share, comment. What we're going to talk about is social movements. We're going to talk about V.O.T.E, voters of Tennessee, enraged, voters of truth, encouraged. And we're going to spell it out to you. CRUSADE, remember the acronym CRUSADE. It's a conscious effort by people to resist or affect change using unusual tactics that are appalling to the government at times and appealing to you and me, hopefully, stuff we want to do. And that are dynamic, they're changing. I mean, the social movements change tactics. They're dynamic, they're continually evolving, and they're engaging. We engage the public, which is what I'm doing on here now. I'm engaging the public, trying to affect change in society, and knocking on doors, going live on YouTube, and trying to get support for the movement. So the first step is realizing that there's a problem, that we're not being treated right by people in power, and we're not. Realize the deception going on. The judiciary in the state of Tennessee is an issue that we can tackle and focus on, because they don't represent me and you. They're a facade system set up to protect the people in power. So that's the Tennessee Judiciary. So like, share, comment, and contribute. So we'll talk about resource mobilization, which is simply getting resources to mobilize. Real fancy way of putting that. So we're almost to the bridge. We'll lay out the facts and lay out the social movement. So, and what a social movement is and what we're here about doing. We'll talk about the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, continue the dialogue about them, and we are getting together a compilation of the first denial of my law license. So we'll put it out to the world why they denied me my law license. Put out a transcript of their little fake hearing where they turned down someone for a law license, honest, that was going to defend you in their courts of law. So, and we'll talk about going through institutional and non-institutional. Hello, I can't, yeah, said hi, hello. President Sloppy Toppy, yeah, okay. So we're not talking about Epstein. We're talking about a social movement, stuff we do about stuff. The Epstein is a diversionary tactic that literally is not a social problem. I don't believe. We're going to deal with real facts and issues. Whatever the news has you focused on, think about what's really going on. Don't be diverted. And we're also going to, if we got a second, and I feel like it, I go by the seat of my pants, we're going to go down to the city county building and put leaflets out. We're going to perpetrate the social movement live on the ground today. So thank y'all for coming. Charles Van Morgan Show. And if we have news later on in the day that's going on, then we'll go live on the ground where the news is at. So like, share, comment. We're almost to the bridge. We'll lay out the evidence about a social movement, talk about what it is. And we ask you all to join V.O.T.E. Join Power to You the People through V.O.T.E. Join the movement to make massive social change through institutional means, which is means to change, to go through the system. And it's not going to work for you. The system's not going to work. I can tell you right now, it's not going to work. The system works for them. So unless you're on their side and you want to perpetrate their will, then it might work. But go through the system, go through institutional channels, and gather evidence of why it should have worked, why it didn't. We're just getting evidence going through institutional channels. I'm not advertising doing anything illegal, but go through institutional channels. Gather evidence and go through non-institutional channels. Through doing some other things that we'll talk about that we need to be involved in, nonviolent. One of the main things we need to do is vote and get the message out. Get the message out through people. And that's what we're doing right now, getting the message out through people, through this YouTube channel. So spread the YouTube channel. And share and like. Let's get one like. We're at 26, get 27. And contribute if you can't contribute. Then share, like, and subscribe if you want to. And we don't restrict comments on this channel. That goes against my values, freedom of speech. You can say anything you want to. Go ahead. I don't have to listen to it, and I usually don't. So thank you for commenting. We appreciate it. Helps the algorithm. So we're going to talk about our social movement that we got going on and why it matters to you and why you need to be involved and support V.O.T.E. because V.O.T.E. is for you. Power to you, the people. And then we're going to go down to the city county building and to some specific places, and we're going to engage in one of the most important functions of a social movement, which is to spread a message and show you how it's done, what we're doing. And we've been doing this for about 5 years, going through institutional channels and going through non-institutional channels, which is what we're doing. And we're going to do a little bit of it today. Non-institutional channel is passing out flyers. Now they remove them from the courthouse, but we still put them up. We can put them up fast as they can take them down. So thank y'all for coming. Share, like, comment, and subscribe. So we got 27 likes. Thank y'all so very much. So we're going to engage in this little social movement today. We're getting out the word, getting out the message, and it's not anti-government. I'm not anti-government. That's the way they want to brand me. They want to brand me as an anti-government figure and say that I'm anti-government. I'm not anti-government. I'm not anti-government at all. I am not. We got to have government. We don't have to have the people in government power. The people in power in the government right now, we don't have to have them in government. That's what I'm against, the people in government power right now, that we need to get rid of them, and we need to vote them out and put people in office that will abide by the Constitution. That's what I'm against, people in power now. Now, the people in power right now are against good, fair, honest government. They've invaded our government using foreigners that shouldn't be here to control us. Now, here's what they're doing. The first part of the equation is they're giving illegal people, and let you see the view. They're giving illegal people, so there's the view of the city of Knoxville, the Gay Street Bridge right there that's closed down, and the crooked city county building, view of the Tennessee River. So yeah, let's see if we can see the sunrise in the morning. The sun's coming up in the morning. So yeah, I see the view. This is my office. Now they have excluded me. Let's see if we can get 28 likes and subscribe. They have excluded me from the courthouse over here, where I can't go in there and argue for you. From that office building. Where, yeah, let's see. See that courthouse over there? Lit up. So and where the attorneys are in those fancy buildings right there, with their beautiful view. And here's a view of Neyland Stadium. So they've kicked me out here on the street. Let's make sure my volume's on. They've kicked me out here on the street. I have a Doctor of Jurisprudence, Master of Arts in Sociology, passed the bar exam twice. But they've kicked me out of that. They won't let me in that courtroom to defend you like I should be able to, honestly, to defend your constitutional rights. So they've kicked me out here on the street, and this is my office. I'd say it's more beautiful than their climate-controlled offices. That is a free public sidewalk for me to spread the truth. Imagine that. So I know a few things about the Constitution and my right to spread a message. My right to spread a message against them and against their illegal aliens. They're illegal aliens that are not out here on the sidewalk like me, that ought to be being arrested and taken back across the border, that are in that courthouse over there. They're in that courthouse representing you. You say they can't do that, they're illegal aliens. Yeah, they can, because the government, people in government power give them legal status. So the people you've elected, the people that lied to you, that told you that they were going to do things for you, that they were going to obey the Constitution, lied to you. They lied. Governor V.O.T.E lied to you. He's a liar. He's a deceitful, evil, wicked person. And I hate to say that, but it's true. It's unbridled news. It's the truth. He presents himself as a Christian while he promotes somebody that's stealing valor. They got their government set up. They don't care who they are, as long as they perpetrate their power, as long as they keep them in power. That's what they do. They keep the billionaires in power. So illegal immigrants, the first illegal aliens, the first thing they do, the first thing they do is they get legal status. They're not really legal. They get legal status. They get a piece of paper that says they're legal, although they snuck across the border. Them and their family snuck across the border, invaded our country, didn't come through legal channels, invaded our country, United States of America, and then they run to a judge, and for a lot of different reasons. One of them is for votes. If they give them legal status, they can vote. They know who gave them legal status, and both sides are guilty. Democrat and Republicans, both of them are responsible for giving them legal status, trading legal status for votes. And then what they do is they give them positions of power. And this is the second step. This is the one that's most detrimental to your safety, health protection, and well-being of Tennesseans, of people that have a birth certificate in the United States, or people that came through legal channels to get in the United States. This is what's detrimental to them, and they know it too. They don't like illegal immigrants that haven't went through proper channels coming over here. So then they give them positions in government power over your birth certificate, your right to this country by birth, by your inheritance, your right to the Constitution. So they give them what you have earned. They give them positions in government power that don't have a birth certificate, people that don't have a birth certificate, people that don't have a selective service registration, that have never been subject to any kind of efforts to maintain the country, to keep it sovereign and free, and they come over here and get positions of power over you. They have it right now, and it's getting worse and worse. Now, the government would have you believe that it's getting better. They're showing ICE agents putting up illegal immigrants across the border every day. But behind the scenes, in that courthouse right over there, behind the scenes, they're having them passing out citizenship like water for people, I know for a fact, that snuck across the border, that didn't go the right way. So they robbed the bank, got the money, go to a judge, a Tennessee judge, and the Tennessee judge gives them a piece of paper, says that money you stole is yours. You didn't work for it, you didn't earn it. That country you snuck into is yours. You didn't work for it, you didn't earn it, you weren't born here, you don't have a birth certificate, you don't have a selective service registration, you have no right, but I'm going to give it to you. Here, our legal authority vested in me by I got voted into office through deception. Here you go. Now, when you go vote, or when you work for me to increase my wealth and increase my status and increase my elitehood. Now, that's what they're doing every day. They're not telling you that. People are very deceived, thinking that the illegal alien problem is being handled. It's being handled some on the street, on the front end, but on the back end, they're going over here to this courthouse and getting legal status for the benefit of the people giving them legal status. And they're getting more power, positions of power in our government. They're getting power over you. Now, even if they came over here legally from a foreign country and immigrated, went through the system, they still don't have a birth certificate here. They don't. They still don't have a selective service registration. A lot of them don't. And they still should not get rights above us, specifically when they are alleging, they're telling you, one of the reasons why they're saying that they want rights here is because they are going to perpetrate the will of a foreign country in the United States of America. And that's what they're doing every day by the truckloads. There's a traffic backed up here in Knoxville. So thank you all. Like, share, comment, come on in to the show. We're getting a few more people. So we're going to go down to the courthouse here in just a minute. First, we're going to cover some stuff that I wrote down. But some of them are lawyers that go to this courthouse that don't have to stay out here on the road like American citizen, birth certificate, born here, vote here, honest. I have to use this podium, although it is beautiful, the Henley Street Bridge. They get to go in there. They get to go in there and use a podium and argue in front of a jury for their foreign country. They give them a stage to practice law in our country, whereas me, they won't allow me to practice law to represent you against them, against their foreign country. Just telling you that's what's going on behind the scenes. American citizen, born here. I've never been out of the United States of America. Not one time. And they deny me my law license and allow them to have law license. Isn't that amazing how that works out for foreign countries? So it takes more than desire to start a social movement. It takes more than desire to start a social movement. It helps to have money, political influence, access to media, and workers. So, political influence. Now, we got a lot of political influence. I've run for office 3 times. 2 times. I might run 3. Access to media. I've got access to media. Right now, YouTube got more viewers than some of the media in Knoxville and workers. So we need help. And do what you can, spread the message, and help out the movement. Advertise the channel, and so resource mobilization, ways in which a social movement utilizes resources. That makes a lot of sense. So there are 4 types of movements that what is get a tablet, bro? Can't afford one. Contribute and we'll get one. Individual level, society level. So there's total change, redemptive and transformative, and there is partial change, affirmative and reformative. So redemptive is total individual change, search for new inner strength religious movements, or total change in the redemptive. Now, that's not what we are. That's at the individual level. The other individual level is partial change. Affirmative social movement at the individual level. Partial individual change. MAD, stop people from driving drunk and recycling. That is a affirmative movement. That's not what this movement is about. Although if you change to join the movement, that works. Okay, at the societal level, now that's where we're at in the social movement. We want to change society. And there's transformative, a revolution, That is total change in social systems. That's what we want to do. Revolution. Change the social order. Reformative, partial social change. Wants to include in system as fixed. Suffrage movement, equal voting right. And so Mr. David Alberley in 1966 came up with this framework. So we're transformative or reformative now. We're seeking to change the system. And usually a movement has a combination of some or all of those forms. And ideology of systems, specifically one forms the basis of economic or political and policy. So our movement, our ideology is that the government don't work for us. And we need to make the government work for us and follow the Constitution. So you need a team, we need a team. Access to different networks, social media, which we have, and low cost participation. So you can participate simply by liking and sharing. And what we're doing on this social media channel, it's real simple, is we are sharpening the awareness of the oppressed. We're showing how bad the government power, people in power are to you, and how dangerous they are. That's what we're doing. We're showing how bad people in government power are to you and how dangerous they are. Hillbilly education. Well, I'll subscribe, I guess. See you later. Okay, thank you. He is single. Yeah, I'm not single. I'm not single at all. So I'm reading some of the comments. So that is what we're doing. Any movement for fundamental change will almost certainly arouse opposition. Effective mobilization will depend in part on how the movement deals with resistance. So we have resistance. A hell of a lot of it. A hell of a lot of resistance. So we are affecting change already. And we just want to say this, that women are welcome in the social media. A lot of times women's efforts aren't recognized and they aren't appreciated, and they're devalued. So, and that's not the case with V.O.T.E. So if you are female, we don't have as many female viewers on the channel, then you're certainly welcome, and you have as much right to this social movement as men do. There's no status that men have more of a right in this social movement than you do. So we're going to go down to the courthouse, and we're going to engage. We're going to engage in part of the social movement by hanging up some flyers, putting out the word, and doing something very dangerous against people in government power. So we're going down to the city-county building down here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we're going to fight these crooks in power by putting out a message by our First Amendment right, freedom of speech. If they don't like it, they can damn well lump it. So what we're doing is dangerous, because we're speaking out against people in government power. We're telling you the truth about them, that they're not honest people and they shouldn't be in power. And they've gotten your votes by lying to you. They have a proxy of people that they give benefits to, that they give favors to, that they get government jobs and positions, that they give money to, that they pay for their votes. And these people in government power, give all these people a proxy of voters. That's hundreds of thousands of people they do favors for. All the people in government power, the workers and the people in supposedly government service, a lot of them, majority of them, they get benefits for voting for people in the establishment. And then those people, because they get a free ride, those people solicit other people that are unaware, unknowing, you and me, and they tell you that these people in government power, that you should vote for them, that they're good people, that they're legitimate, that they're honest, that they're fair, that we should vote for them. So these thousands of government workers that get benefits, not all government workers, but thousands of them, and some of them that aren't even government workers that they do benefits for, that's their proxy. And these people are people that they know always vote, and then they spread the lies. They spread that Governor V.O.T.E is a good man, that he's a Christian man, that they've never seen him do anything wrong, that he's out for the public good, that he will benefit you, that when he says that the emergency fund can't be used for food stamps, that is legitimate, that he's fair and honest. And they spread that insidious lies, and people unthinkingly, that's what I'm asking you to think, unthinkingly vote for him anyway. Not looking behind the curtain that he's doing right. He's not doing things for Tennesseans. He's not doing things for you. He's deceitful. He's doing things for people in power. He's reserving that emergency fund for his rich buddies so they won't have to use their millions. He's reserving power for the elite and keeping the elite people in power, and not doing anything for the populace, just acting like he is deceitfully to try to earn your vote, to try to appear the appearance of legitimacy, just the appearance. That's all he's after. He wants to appear that way. And they use their courts. Their courts give the appearance of legitimacy. You have judges in robes, and people have to stand up to go in the courtroom, and you have a procedure. You have a procedure that they have a board of law examiners that they don't let dishonest people practice law. So they have the appearance. It's all about appearances. They have these appearances of we're legitimate, we're honest. When their whole system is set up. Their whole system is set up to have the appearance of legitimacy and to benefit them. It's not set up to benefit you. It has nothing to do with you other than to deceive you through procedures and efforts to win your vote, to keep them in power. And if you don't think about what's going on, if you don't think through things, if you don't look around, if you don't investigate the truth, look behind the curtain, look at what's really going on. And it's a common thing. People know the rich get richer and the poor get prison. How do the rich get richer? Do they work harder? No. They get in government power and present a facade and get rules and laws that are made in their favor that are against you. And they stomp on your constitutional rights and adversely affect Tennesseans. That's what they do. And what we need to do is put out the truth against these crooked dirtbags, these thieves, these people in government power. And that's what we're doing. That's what power to you, the people, and vote is. So we're going to if we can get the staples out, we're going to they took it down. We're going to engage in this social movement, power to you, the people, this social movement, by putting out a flyer right here on a billboard right here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and put out the truth So we got a bunch of them. Put out the truth and send a message out to Knoxvillians and to the world, which is a dangerous activity. So let's see, we got one of our flyers here. So bear with me just a second here, and we will put out a flyer. So here we go. So they took down my other one. That's just V.O.T.E. So yeah, they don't. So they took down one of my signs. So we will put out a little flyer here. And engage in a little social movement. So here we go. So here we go, right here, the city county building. Now this is a message they're not going to like very much, because here's a message right here. See, he's got his tax paid sign. This is paper I paid for. I had to pay for my campaign. You paid for Lionel Russell. And tax paid street signs hailing him a hero when he's a thug, white collar criminal, paid for, authorized by Charles Van Morgan. So you know, that'd be the truth. That'd be the truth. And let's see let's put this up on the other side over here. The other side of the sign. This is his buddy. This is his buddy that is stealing valor. And yeah. So we'll put that up, and I'll put this up right here earlier, but they took it down. So we'll put this up right here while you look at the city county building. It's up at the city county building. So yeah, we'll put it up here beside the V.O.T.E. Right up here. So yeah, we'll make it hard for them to tear it down. So here's the other sign right here at the city county building. So this is never served a day after Governor Lee notified, promoted her to THP major. Notice I haven't got Lee capitalized because he doesn't deserve to be capitalized. So here is with the Office of Professional Responsibility. Yeah, that's where she learned how to lie. Captain Heatherly is also a 20-year military veteran, retired from the 278th, 1175th Tennessee Army National Guard. So here it is. They're advertising. She's advertising Captain Stacey Heatherly, Speaker Spotlight with the Tennessee Highway Patrol emblem. This is what they put out. This is what they put out. So we're putting out at the city county building what these thugs put out. So here we go. And this right here is her girlfriend, Larry Russell. And that's what she said. That's not what I'm saying. So we're engaged in a social movement activity by putting out the truth about these people in government power. So a social movement is a collective or joint action, some degree of oriented goals, some degree of organization, some extra-institutional collective action. That's what we're doing. Extra-institutional collective action, or at least a mixture of extra-institutional protesting in the streets, institutional political lobbying activity. Blending these elements together, we can define a social movement as a collective acting with some degree of organization, continuity outside institutional channels for the purpose of promoting or resisting change in the group, society, or world order of which it is part. To clarify this conception of social movement. So that is what we are engaged in. And we're also involved in prayer. Prayer changes things. So pray is one of the means. And also, we went all over the state. And I put this out. We have people, dear church and pastor, thank you for your sign message. I accept the Lord's first gift. Please pray for us as we pray for all of you, all of your community. Thank you, Charles Van Morgan. So we put that out at churches, ask churches to pray for us. And here's our sign. Charles Van Morgan, news you'll want to hear, corrupt people in government power. And those are two corrupt people in government power. So and you're on our YouTube show. So like, share, comment. And all this bad that's going on, remember, God is good. People aren't good, but God is good. God is always good. And here's another sign that we got. This sign right over here where people can see it. But they don't like that sign, do they? But that's the truth. He's held as a hero when he's a liar. And he's a criminal. He misrepresented reports. We're coming up on 1.2 million people. This is what we got. And we're already past 1.2 million people. 1,186,405 views. So the message is getting out. We're accomplishing our task. Just a few months ago, we had about 25,000. And in about 2 months, we've gotten over 1 million people that are watching this show. And when we get in office, this is, if we ever do, there's no guarantees. This is what we'd like to do. Do you believe a special prosecutor's office should be set up to investigate wrongdoing by Tennessee judges and public officials? 82% of people say yes. And that's what people in government power don't like, is that we want to investigate the investigators. We want to investigate people in power. So that's what we're doing. We want to investigate the judges. We want to investigate Judge LaFavor. Judge LaFavor, hearing transcript 43, line 23, I think he testified that he sees what the camera sees. It's a little disturbing, but that's his testimony. That's not what I testified to. See, the judge is putting words in my mouth. That's what they do. They put words in your mouth. Here's the transcript of the hearing. It says, here's what I said in the hearing. Here's what I said, and the judge put words in my mouth. The judges at this courtroom, at this courthouse, will put words in your mouth. And this is what we're fighting. Here's what I said. Mr. Morgan, hearing transcript, page 42, line 11. Right, when you're on the road driving like this, are you seeing blobs like that of light, or are you seeing stop sign images? When I'm driving on the road, I see the road. When I'm driving out on the road, I see the road. You see the road, right? Yes, sir. Okay, but as we go, you're passing some stop signs, you're passing some yield signs, you're passing a lot of different signs, correct? Yes. And in looking at the video, we don't see them as signs. You would agree with that, correct? We see them as blobs of light. Yes, sir. But what you actually saw were signs, correct? Not all the time. No, sir. Would you say that this is what you see at night when you're driving, just blobs? Similar to that? Yes, sir. So, sir, that's what you see? Yes, sir, because I can't recognize anything there. Objection, Attorney Parks, page Is this your testimony that you can see what the camera sees exactly that way? Not exactly that way, but that's what I'm looking at. So Judge Randall Favor puts words in my mouth. I think he testified that he sees what the camera sees. It's a little disturbing, but that's his testimony. That wasn't my testimony. My testimony was, not all the time, no, sir. Would you say that this was what you see when you're driving? No. Similar to that, yes, sir, that's what you see, because I can't recognize anything there. Is that your testimony that you see what the camera sees? Not exactly that way. Not exactly that way. See, he says that I testified I see what the camera sees. I say not exactly that way. No, sir. So he changes what I said. The judge in the courtroom, the dirty judge, see, he's rigging it to rule for the governor, to rule for the government, to rule for the governor. He's rigging my testimony. Changing what I said. The judge is doing that. Now that's the judge, the unbiased arbitrator, the person that's supposed to uphold the Fifth Amendment, which is the right to a fair trial. Now that's fair, where the judge changes my testimony. Now that's not fair. Here, now I'm just showing you the court system that's handing out people, that's handing out citizenship status to illegal aliens. This judge is doing that. These are the judges. Judge Randall Lefevre incorrectly recites Mr. Morgan's testimony. Judge Randall Lefevre testifies on the record that Mr. Morgan testifies that he sees what the camera sees. Hello. This video was a recording during the pursuit, so it is similar to some of what was observed by Mr. Morgan, because in fact a recording on the upper right side of the windshield during the pursuit, it follows that part of our similar to what Mr. Morgan saw. Not exactly as Mr. Morgan testified truthfully to, but similar. Respectfully, Judge Randall Favor testifies changes Mr. Morgan's testimony. But Mr. Morgan clearly said, not all the time, no, sir. Similar to that, yes, sir. Not exactly that way. But Mr. Morgan clearly said, not all the time, no, sir. Similar to that, yes, sir. Not exactly. Considering the special circumstances and dynamics of a pursuit, it is abuse of discretion to adjudicate that a similar view of a recording during this pursuit admitted by Mr. Morgan is disturbing, clearly against logic, especially in the light of Judge Lefevre's refusal to accept expert testimony. So you see how the judge in the judicial system lied. He changed testimony, changed my testimony, changed my verbiage to get to where he was going, That's what they did. That's exactly what they did. To change the narrative to rule in their favor, and that's what they'll do all the time. There I am, and while he was sitting in the courtroom, there I am on the road. We tried to get to him, we couldn't get to him. So that's how they. And if you want to read a book about this, the former Charles Van Morgan story, email me for $149. I'll send you an electronic copy. And for $199, I'll send you a signed copy and mail you a signed hard copy of that. And we're going to go hand out a few more flyers and engage in this social movement. So thank y'all for watching. Let's see. And we're not done yet, so hang on. We got some more stuff to go over. So welcome. So Charles Van Morgan Show. Let's see if we can talk this again. So did you see our signs there, sir? Do you see our signs there? Have you heard of Dr. Martin Luther King? Yeah. Well, see, we're involved in a social movement. So if you want to read our signs, broadcasting live, going against the people in government power. So you know how people get elected? You pay for their campaign signs right there. That's a state representative, and I'm broadcasting live. I won't film you. That's a state representative. That's his yard sign. You paid for that tax money. They're saying he's a hero, named a road after him. And then he runs for office and he gets elected. How does he get elected? Because the government said he's a good person, right? Yeah. See, I bought a sign that I paid for that, but you pay for their signs. Yeah. And they get in here and then they tell you what to do. after you help them get elected with your tax money. I'm just saying. And look over here. What do you think about that? You think that's fair?
I don't know. I think.
Yeah, think about it. Well, right. I understand that. And look at this over here. You want to see this over here? You mind if I put you on camera?
I don't go camera.
Okay, I won't do that. This is a Major with Tennessee Highway Patrol. Major. Okay. Did you hear about the wreck where they ran into each other yesterday or Friday, where a trooper ran into a Maryville police officer?
I don't know. I think I heard about it.
Yeah. So 2 police officers ran into each other, and they're supposed to protect us.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense to you? Maybe they don't know what the hell they're doing. I'm just saying. Okay, this is, and they haven't told us what happened yet. 2 police officers ran into each other.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be protecting us, and they ran into each other.
Yeah.
So somebody, I mean, what was going? And she is over. The THP's investigating that wreck.
Yeah.
They're investigating it. They're going to tell you what happened, and they're going to tell you what happened truthfully. They're the government, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you expect, right? Well, she is the one over that wreck. She's going to decide what they tell you. She is still valor. She said she was in the 1175th Division, the Army National Guard. She never served a day. And she's going to tell you what happened in that wreck. So you believe what's going to happen in that wreck, so that she's going to tell you the truth? It's kind of hard to believe she'll tell you the truth when she's lying about valor. Look at that, proof positive. She put out a flyer, Highway Patrol, and she never served a day in the military. She's lied about military service. So when she puts out information about the wreck, she's going to tell you the truth about the wreck. She lied then, but that's okay. She's going to tell you, see what I'm saying? So you can believe what the government tells you, right?
Not really.
No, I'm just saying that's why our movement is VOTE, Voters of Truth and Rage, because that's who's running our government right now. That's who's running this courthouse right now, rogue judges. I call it the Baumgardner Courthouse. Have you ever heard of Baumgardner?
No.
He's the one that was raping judges. I mean, he's a judge that was raping women in the courthouse.
Oh, okay. I'm good. I'm done talking about it. So.
Okay. God bless you, I pray. I'm filming live, so he don't want to talk about it. So see, we're out here spreading the message. We'll put out some more information at locations in Knoxville and putting out the truth. And see, people don't want to deal with it, so that's all right. That's all right. Some people do. Some people do. We're not bashful or shy. And it's fun to put out the truth and fight these people. That's dangerous as hell. Dangerous as hell. So pray for me that God will keep me safe. Pray that I'll tell the truth and be honest and not be affected by rogue, false social pressure. And I'm putting out the truth every day, all day, what time I'm not working. And if you want to join the movement, vote. Voters of Truth and Rage in your country. In your country, you can institute VOTE. It's a worldwide movement that goes across boundaries. And putting the message, the vote for truth, to look for the truth. And vote for people that perpetrate the truth, not their dirty, crooked lies. And that's what government people are doing now. So we're going to go over here and put out some more leaflets. So I got permission from the people that put out the papers when there's not any in there that they told me I could. So I got permission to put out stuff. So that's exactly what we'll do. Put out leaflets on public billboards and spread the message. And it's not an anti-government message. It's an anti-people in government power message. It's against the people in government power that are mistreating you. So we're downtown Knoxville. Like, share, comment, and we're at the rogue Tennessee Supreme Court. These are people that violate your rights. The rogue Tennessee Supreme Court. They appoint people on the Board of Law Examiners. The Tennessee Supreme Court, these judges appoint people on the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners that get to approve whether or not I practice law in the courts of law, get to approve people that decide whether or not that I can represent you in a court of law. And these people have decided that I can't represent you because I tell the truth. These people have also decided that a foreigner without a birth certificate and without graduating from a university in law school in Tennessee, without having a doctor of jurisprudence in the United States of America, without American law school, without enough education, these people decided that a foreigner that doesn't have a birth certificate, that doesn't have a selective service registration, this Tennessee Supreme Court that lied to you has said that it's okay if they practice law in this country, that it's okay if they practice law in this country to represent their foreign country. So they can come into court, give the podium, the license of law, to stand up, that they give them the form to stand up in front of a jury and represent a foreign country in your courtroom. They give them the space and time to do that in our country, to represent a foreign country. But they have said that I can't, born in America, raised in America, never been in a foreign country, that I have a selective service registration, that I don't get that same form, that I have to stand out here on the sidewalk while a foreigner is in that courthouse representing foreign people. Now that's America. That's going on right now in America. This crooked Tennessee Supreme Court. Now see, I got the right to say that. I got the right to say that people in the Tennessee Supreme Court are crooked. They're crooked as hell. They're not right people. They're people that don't stand on the Constitution. That's my view. I can prove it. One way they don't stand on the Constitution is they don't honor American people. They don't honor people that were born in America. They honor foreigners. They appointed a lady on the Board of Judicial, the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners, that was committing a felony of dishonesty. They put a lady on the Board of Law Examiners that was committing a felony of dishonesty and denied me a law license and approved a foreigner. She did, one that was committing a felony of dishonesty. Now, that's the Tennessee Supreme Court. The same Tennessee Supreme Court member that was a liaison, a judge. Tennessee Supreme Court judges are rogue as hell. We need to vote them out. I got a right to say that. They're up for re-election in 2030. Vote them out. They don't like me saying that. They don't like me saying that. Well, excuse me, this is America, and if something happens to me, don't look at some rogue thug around here. Don't look at some rogue thug. If something happens to you in Russia, if you speak out against Putin and you fall out of an airplane or your food gets poisoned, do you look at some rogue thug that poisoned your food? No. Putin's the one that did it. Putin did it. And when something happens to me, Charles Van Morgan, if it does, I hope public attention will prevent him from doing that. And you know, I'll stay out of harm's way the best I can. But if something happens to me, it's not some rogue thug, some robber, some thief, some innocent, some unnamed person, and some innocent person. They'll try to say they were innocent, that somebody defended themselves. They'll spin the truth and try to make me look guilty, and they're self-innocent. So if something happens to me, you know, look at the people in the judiciary, the people that are supposed to protect us with the law and the Constitution are the ones that probably did me damage. That's where you need to look, people at the Tennessee Supreme Court. People in the Board of Law Examiners are violent, dangerous people. They're violent and dangerous. Now they say I am. I'm not. The movement is vote. Vote. That's not a violent act. Go and vote. Putting out information to the public, spreading the truth against the government, people in government power right now, not against the government. Government is good. Is not a violent act. That's a very peaceful act. What I'm telling you, and it is unbridled, truthful news, is that these people in the government are dangerous and violent. That's the truth you need to hear. And they're allowing people from foreign countries that we don't know who they are to get a birth certificate. To get legal status. So let's put out some more leaflets that might get me killed. I hope not, but I'm a fighter. That's what I do. That's what I'm good at. I've arrested more people than anybody in the state for something that could have got me killed. And the hit job wasn't from a drunk driver. The hit job was from Tracy Trott in the Tennessee Highway Patrol. That's what the hit job was from. So like, share, comment. Anyone notice he can't spell? Oh wow, yeah. Let me deal with that, because I think that's funny. Because people do that. I can spell. I spelled pretty good passing a bar exam, didn't I? So people do that. If you misspell a word, which they allege that the whole concept is wrong that you're trying to say. Isn't that hilarious? Isn't that hilarious? Even if I do have a misspelled word, that doesn't mean what I'm saying is incorrect. And they focus on a little insignificant issue to try to discredit the whole point, which is insignificant. And, you know, so somebody might spell a word wrong, but that doesn't mean their point is wrong. So you can focus on stuff that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, just because somebody misspelled a word doesn't mean that their points, that their concepts are not right. So if you want to focus on stuff that doesn't matter and listen to that babbling idiot, then you go right ahead. That's you know, that's what the government wants you to do. Pay attention to stuff that doesn't matter and forget about stuff that damn well matters a hell of a lot. So let's see. We got another flyer here to put in this mailbox. I think we do. We may not. And spread this message. So yeah. So here we go. We got one more. So we do have one right here. We're going to put this out and put it in this. Let's see. Should we put it in this one? Or yeah. Or yeah. Let's put it in this one right here. There we go. So right here in front of the library, and we'll put out some more in the future. So we got it right here in front of the library. Well, certainly can't read. You messed up writing. Yeah. So yeah, you want to contribute 500? Then go ahead. Anyone knows you can't spell? And anyone notice that you're an idiot that worries about things that are not appropriate? These are the subscribers of psychology. Okay, let's read some. Discuss amongst yourselves. You know those notepad lines are there for a reason. Yeah, so right outside the notepads, even if you come up with the theory of life and write the truth, and because you don't write inside the lines, that those are big issues. Some of y'all are so brilliant. I mean, oh man, that's such a wonderful thing. So keep commenting. Keep the foolishness going. A lot of good comments in here. We appreciate you all. So voters of Tennessee enraged, voters of truth enraged or encouraged, join the movement and like, subscribe, and comment. And we will probably be back on here tomorrow to talk about another interesting topic. I come here to the library almost on a daily basis and read books about different topics, and then I present the information in proper context to y'all, usually every morning. And we're going to go across the state, and we're going to present news, unbridled news, as we have means and opportunity to do that. So I may come on any time of day to put out truth, to put out information about people in power, people in the government that are mistreating you. And from an unbridled perspective, I'll tell you what, the news media is not wanting you to know, not wanting you to believe, and present it from an unbridled perspective. I'm not controlled by the news media. Stand on the First Amendment. Only bound by defamation laws, which is what I'm abiding by. Defamation is false communication. I'm telling the truth. That's what we're about. It's truth they don't want me to tell you. Truth they try to cover up, but it's defamation is false communication that is unprivileged, and that's what they do. They put out false communication. The government, people in government power, put out false communication that is privileged, meaning you can't sue them. In their courtrooms every day, they put out defamation by the truckloads, but it's not defamation because it's privileged. So defamation is false communication, unprivileged, disseminated to at least a third person that tends to lower somebody in the stand of the community, where people in the community don't want to deal with them. That's what defamation is. But if you notice in the definition, the legal definition is it's unprivileged because judges have a privilege to defame people. They can say false stuff about people from a judicial bench. So they exempt them from laws that me and you have to abide by. Now that is fine if they're honest judges. If they're honest, if they tell the truth, and if they self-police themselves to where they try to be honest and fair and restrict what they say to what they know to be the truth, and don't belittle people, make fun of people, and try to deter the Fifth Amendment, which is what they do. So when I went into court for exercising my First Amendment right, for doing what I'm doing today, campaigning, they issued me a subpoena to come to court. And the judge here in the Knox County Court would not let me answer questions. He wouldn't let me finish a sentence in order to defend myself. He wouldn't give me my Fifth Amendment right. Now, that's not a choice that he can make. He cannot deny me a right to a fair trial, but he did. That's what they do. Because you say, how do they do that? Because they got a gun. They step on the Constitution. The Constitution doesn't apply. Here's a gun. So it has come to that. It has literally come to that. You don't have a First Amendment right in a Tennessee courtroom. You have a right to shut up, or they will put you in jail. So that's just the truth. I hate to say that, but that's just the honest truth. You don't have a Fifth Amendment right in a Tennessee courtroom. I've experienced that myself. They won't let you answer questions. This judge over here, McMillan, threatened to put my witness in jail that was testifying in my favor, threatened to put my witness in jail when I shouldn't even been in the courthouse in the first place. I was out passing out flyers like this. Under the First Amendment, we got a right in a public space, in a public sphere, to, they can't make a law to restrict freedom of speech. They did. They criminalized, made it a civil offense for me to pass out stuff. You see how it's not stopping me. I'm still doing that because I'm speaking out against the judiciary that does crooked stuff like that. If they don't like what I'm saying about them, if they don't like it, and I know they don't like it, the Board of Law Examiners specifically said they weren't giving me my law license because I made a complaint about a judge through their procedure. They got a procedure, I went through their procedure. That's one reason. You can't complain even through their procedure, which is unconstitutional, a violation of any right of fairness. So they used me making a legitimate complaint against McMillan. And also they told me that I could not exercise my First Amendment right. That me passing out flyers is also why they won't give me my law license. So first, going through institutional procedures, can't do that. Second, going through non-institutional procedures, using the First Amendment, you can't do that either. So in other words, the government has said, and they're saying the same to you because I would have represented you, that I cannot speak. Shut up. Go along with the program. Go along with our program. Make things better for us. And shut up. Like it or lump it. But not in this country. I don't have to do that. And you say, well, that's the reason why they turned down your law license. You bucked the system. No, that's not true. You see, I went through the practicing law, tried to get a license twice. The first time I didn't do that. And they denied me my law license. Tried to go along with the program. Cooperated 100%. Didn't lie under oath. But they didn't like the fact that the government had already mistreated me. So they used the government mistreatment of me to further deny me my law license, because the government mistreated me the first time in taking my job away. Then they had to continue to perpetrate that mistreatment. They couldn't do the right thing. So once the government gets on a wrong trail, once people in government power get on the wrong trail, they're never going to admit they're wrong. They don't have to. They got a gun. So the second time, I spoke out against that. And you can listen to the hearing. They mentioned that I passed out flyers, and I told them something I learned when I was 7 or 8 years old that they haven't figured out yet, that passing out flyers against the government, that's what you get. And that's their problem, not mine. If you don't want to get that, then don't hit me. Then give me my law license. Let me go on about my life. But see, they won't do that because they're not fair, honest, competent, even competent people. I mean, they're running into each other. So they won't give me my law license because they're violating the Constitution of the United States of America. And it's a social problem because I can't represent you in their courtrooms. And it's also a problem. So there's the traffic backed up. And it's also a problem. So like, share, comment. And it's also a problem for you because I can represent myself, but go try to represent yourself in a courtroom that the opinion's already, the decision's already made. They're already going to decide against you. So a social movement is a conscious organization effort by ordinary people to change or resist something big in society using tools outside the official system. Key points. Movements happen when people feel the system isn't living up to its values. People see injustice, corruption, or lies, they band together. Movements are non-institutional. So I'm pointing out that the injustice in our court system, the one that gives us rules and orders, the same judge, the same Supreme Court justice that appointed a lady to the Board of Law Examiners that got convicted of being dishonest, that said that I'm not honest. So a dishonest person said that I'm not honest. So that's kind of a problem. A person that admitted that they weren't honest while they were committing a crime of dishonesty said that I'm not honest. That same Supreme Court justice, she's related to the colonel of the Highway Patrol. So she's, in effect, through her position, got the colonel of the Highway Patrol, Matt Perry, promoted to colonel through not honesty, through dishonesty. And they're the same people that get to decide what happened in that wreck on the national stage. That they're going to tell you who was at fault in the wreck between a Tennessee State Trooper and a Maryville police officer. So they lie. I mean, I can prove their lies. They've admitted in courts that they lied, in federal courts, because they were caught red-handed. And they're the same people, the same organization, the same structure that's going to tell us what happened in that wreck. Do you believe them? I don't. Once somebody lies to you, you can't trust the damn word they say. It has to be proven. So don't believe what the hell they say, because it's not honest. So buy my book, and it spells it out. The former trooper Charles Van Morgan, The Fight to Save Lives and Correct the Record, a true story of courage, corruption, and the Constitution by Charles Van Morgan. Copyright 2005. Power to you, the people. So, hello. There's power in numbers. We can overcome their election fraud by, there's 4,000 Tennesseans on SNAP that are voting age. Remember, they cut off the food stamps, and that's a test case. They can do it again. So if we multiply that by 3, if every person on SNAP joins VOTE and notifies 3 other people and votes, that's 1.2 million people. That's how many views I've gotten. We can overturn the governor's race coming up next year. We can overturn the governor's race. Put somebody that will appoint honest judges in office, that will appoint truth. That's what we can do. If each of the people voting age contacts 3 other people, that's 1.2 million people. So, the power of number 4,000 Tennesseans on SNAP, that's food stamps, voting age, times 3 equals 1,200 people. When people unite, the math speaks for itself. So if everybody on SNAP contacts 3 other people that are voting age, that in itself overcomes the election. So that's a point of contention, a point of stress. You all have been without food stamps for over a month and still having trouble. So if you vote, just the people that are on justifiably 99% of them on food stamps, and my heart goes out to you. I'm reaching out to you. If you contact 3 other people, or 4 to make up for the people that won't, then we can overturn the governor's race. And if that happens again, we can get a governor that will use the emergency fund when the federal government fails. So that's what we can do. The power of numbers, and that's just people on food stamps. So we can win against these crooked people. We can beat them. We got the numbers. There's more of us than there are them. A whole lot more. Millions and millions more people. About 4.5 million more people that are eligible to vote, that can vote, if we unite together and go against the system. So we can cross national boundaries by helping you form a world movement, voters of truth, enraged, and courage. So get truth out, vote for it. A new social movement's worldwide focus. We take a broader global perspective on social and political activism. Fight for truth worldwide. Fight through media. And the government puts out false messages. So society, they say that society is getting better. It is getting better for powerful and worse for everyone else. That's injustice. When progress lifts the elite and crunches the weak, that's not a better society. That's exactly what the Bible warned of, that people are getting more and more wicked, and it's getting better for people in power and worse for you. So the powerful, life better is health care, protected by courts, access of lawyers, political insulation, control of institutions. So the powerful, they have access to lawyers, they have a better life, better health care, protected by the courts that rule in their favor. They have access to political institutions. They're insulated from institutions of control. And the worse for the powerless, it's worse for us. Harsher punishment, denied due process, silence, voices, corruption from above, exploited, laborers, and not protected. That's what it's getting for the mass populace. In 1811, it's been going on since 1811, the word sabotage comes from mass craft workers, toil extremist measures. They rendered factories, destroyed machines that pulled them out of work. So in the AI age, where it's putting people out of work, their fierce anger, workers threw their wooden shoes, sabots, into factory machines in the 1800s as a fight against machines that lowered the amount of workers they needed to destroy it, giving rise to the term sabotage. They weren't successful, but it symbolizes resistance to technology. So the more technology increases, the less and less they'll need us, and the more and more that they'll make measures to control us. So that's what the term sabotage comes from social movements. So tomorrow we'll go into some tactics of social movements, some tactics of vote. And we're not going to tell the whole story because we don't want people in government power to know what we're doing. You've seen some of them today, some of the tactics of social movements, and we're not into sabotage. We're not going to sabotage. We're not going to illegally sabotage anything. There's some constitutional rights we can exercise that stop their sabotage of our constitutional rights. Now we can do that. So we're not above exercising our constitutional rights, and it sabotages a lot of stuff. So look at the beautiful view here, the beautiful sky. So like, share, comment. We got 44 likes and a bunch of comments. So we're going to be back on here tomorrow. We'll probably talk about some tactics of social movement. So if you want me to speak at your church or speak at your bar, and I don't drink myself, then send me an email at charlesvanmorgan@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to come and speak at your church or bar, and I'll advertise. Here's the traffic backed up. I'll advertise on my channel that I'm going to be speaking at your bar and give the location, or your church and give the location. So I'll put out information. We've been speaking to 1.2 million people. So we'll try to get you some people there at a bar to spend money, and hopefully you sell milk, because alcohol is a big social problem, the drunkenness. And so hopefully if you do drink, you drink responsibly. I would advocate that you don't drink at all. I don't. So we're available to speak. If you want me to speak, send me an email at charlesvanmorgan@gmail.com, and we'll work out the arrangements if you want me to speak. So here's the sun coming up in the morning, rising in the east and going down in the west. So here we go. There we go. So charlesvanmorgan@gmail.com, you can contact me. If you have information that you want me to put out adverse about the government, then, or information that you just want me to know, then there's a survey on the YouTube channel. Just hit that, click on that survey and send me. You can send it anonymously. If you want to send your information, put your name and email address or telephone number, and I will call if you want to do that, or you can do it anonymously. And I won't know who you are. Any information you want to send me, go to the YouTube page and click the survey icon, and it'll send me a message, and I'll answer it. So if you want to send me a message, do that. If you want to advertise, if you want me to advertise for your business, then I'll be happy to do that. Just email me, charlesvanmorgan@gmail.com, and I will hold a sign out advertising your business at Moody and Chapman Highway, and on the bridge, which is the only access. There's 3 bridges in Knoxville, and it's the only access to 2 bridges. So you're getting people funneled across 2 bridges, and I'm standing at a location where you have to pass that location before you can get to 2 of the bridges. The 3rd bridge is on the interstate. So it's a major thoroughfare where all of Knoxville traffic, if they want to cross the river, have to go through that area unless they pass the interstate bridge. So it's a heavy traffic area. Everybody's funneled through that area that's coming across the river, unless of course they go to the interstate, and I'm not anywhere near there. But it has a lot of heavy traffic. Moody and Chapman, which you have to turn left to go to the South Knoxville Bridge, or if you want to go straight, you still have to pass me to go to the Henley Street Bridge. So go across that bridge, and I'll hold a sign, and I'll also advertise you live, your business live, if it's a business that I want to advertise for. Now, I'm not advertising for a rogue business, and there's some businesses that I want to advertise for, so I will hold your sign up and advertise for your business. social movements need resources, and I'm offering to advertise, and we'll use the resources to continue to promote Charles Van Morgan, the social movement, and contact me and we'll do that. We'll work out the arrangements. If you want me to advertise your business and we get you some customers, and I'll also advertise on live that, hey, go to this business and have a sign, and so there you go and buy my book. It's $149. Spells out the movement and the corruption in state government, puts out the other side. So also pray for me today as I put out some pretty graphic information about dirty people in state power that have a lot of power. And thank y'all for joining me. So we'll stay on here as long as we're funded. We'll probably be back on here tomorrow morning, and we're going to talk about some tactics that we're involved in, some social movement tactics. So here's the bridge, and here's the view, the courthouse. Okay, Old Glory says, we'll read this. Where is your filler explaining the truth on how you failed to help a young man involved in an auto accident where you were a police officer? Okay, so we'll explain that. I didn't fail to help anybody. That's a dirty government lie put out by people like Lionel Russell, people in power in the government. So we'll show you. He's telling you that I didn't help somebody, defaming me. So we'll show you the truth. We'll show you the truth. Yeah, we'll show you how that's not at all true. So he says I failed to help somebody. So he's on here telling you I failed to help somebody. So okay, there's me right there. Could have been killed in a car. There's me right there. See right there I'm standing? Trooper Morgan. Right there I am. So am I failing to help somebody? Old Glory, where were you at that? So I'm right there. I could have been blown up by a car. That's a fact. Right there it is. Right there it is, Old Glory. So he wants to tell you I failed to help somebody. Right there I am. See me right there? See right there? So I'm right there trying to help Trooper Morgan. Yeah, I can't get to him. Looks like he's crunched in there. We can try. So I'm trying with my life in danger. So that's a fact. That's a fact. There I am, see me? So Old Glory, that's a fact. So he says I'm not trying to help. So there's a picture. That's the front of my patrol car. Film that. That's a fact. So he's trying to spin it that I didn't try to help. So there you go. So I didn't try to help. Don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe your lying eyes. Believe that guy on Old Glory, where that car could have blown up, and I'm there trying to save somebody's life. The car could have blown up, and I'd have been dead. And Old Glory has audacity. That's how sick these people are. That's how sick that man is. Has audacity, and I just showed you a picture. That's a picture's worth 1,000 words. A picture where there I am in a fire. The car's on fire. It's got a gas tank. That's a picture of me live on my patrol car camera, and they want to say, well, that's the camera, but we'll tell you how to think about it. He's there in the fire trying to help, even the exact verbiage that he used live on the scene. But that's not what you hear, that's not what you see. And I'm glad he brought that. That's exactly what the government does. That the people in power say, I know you've seen that, and I know that's the way you think it is, and there's a picture of it, and it's so obvious, but that's not really what you see, or that's not really what you should think. Here's what I want you to think. He's there in the fire, he's trying to get to him, but that's not really what happened, what you see. That's what they're trying to tell you. That's what they're saying to you. So you know, I just dispelled that, old glory. I wasn't trying to help that guy. There I am, could have been killed. And a sick person, a sicko, says, although I was so close, I could have been blown up, could have been dead, risking my life for somebody that did something to themselves. That man did that to himself. I wasn't drinking, I was sober. While he was laying there dead, there was proof in his blood. He was drunk. He put me in danger and everybody else in danger. But he's a hero. According to people in government power, according to Lionel Russell, he's a hero. And I'm the villain. See how they flip it? You think the way we want you to think. That's what they're trying to tell you. If you believe that, then explain the picture, explain the factual evidence. And let me tell you, the truth is that people in government power lie to you. The same people that are going to tell you what happened on a national stage with the wreck in Maryville involving a THP trooper. They're going to tell you what happened. You going to believe them? They told you what happened in my case. They said I wasn't trying to save somebody's life. That picture you seen me in the flames wasn't what you seen. Yeah, right. And that's the same people, Major Stacy Headley, that's still invalid, that's going to tell you, because she's the highest in command that covers this area in the Tennessee Highway Patrol, specifically assigned to this area. The highest in command is going to tell you what happened in that wreck. They're going to tell you, don't believe what you see. Don't worry about that. I know Van's in the fire trying to save somebody's life. Don't believe that. Don't believe what you see and what you know. This is what we want you to think. And this is what we're going to tell you. And this is what we're going to go with. And you come along. If you don't, then we'll sanction you, and we'll mistreat you, and we'll defame you, and we'll take your rights away from you. That's what they're trying to tell you. So thank you for bringing that up. Don't believe what you see. Don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe the truth. Don't believe the audio of the real event that happened. That happened, but let's explain it to you about what really happened, and ignore what is obvious and visible. And that's how they do. That's exactly how they do. And that's your people in government power trying to tell you that baloney. I should have got a medal for my actions that night. I should have been awarded for what I did that night for my life-saving events. Had I been on the right side of the government, I was on the right side of protecting the public. Had I been on the right side of Lionel Russell, then I would have got an award. Or he would have got an award for what I did. That's how they do. He would have got an award for my actions, because as a matter of fact, they did get an award. They fired me in 2012, and they got an award for my drunk driving arrest and my protecting the public in 2012. So they got an award for what I did. They got an award in 2012 for my actions in 2011, although they got rid of me. And the fatality rate went up. Now, don't believe what your lying eyes tell you. Don't believe the facts. Don't believe the facts. Believe what we're telling you, and believe the narrative that we're trying to say. And believe illegal immigrants So here we go. And believe illegal immigrants are not taking over our court, over our government, and the government is not giving them legal status above American citizens. Yeah, believe that too. But even though you see it every day, even though I've seen it. So don't believe that. So like, share, comment, and contribute if you can. If all the 1.2 million people on here have seen us give us $1, we'd have $1.2 million to spread the message and present more news. So if you want us to continue voters of Tennessee enraged, or voters of truth enraged, or when we flip the system, voters of truth encouraged worldwide across state boundaries, then contribute to the movement. Hit the square icon or the Cash App icon. And there have been people, or send a super chat, there have been people that have given it, and I appreciate it. If you can't do that, then I understand. Hey, I'm not one of those prosperous pastors that flies around in planes and makes millions off saving people. I'm a social reformer that wants to make things better for you by exploiting the truth, pointing out the truth, and going against people in government power, and going on the scene to news. And I've been to a couple places local, and I'll go all over the state, all over the United States, putting out the news to people, the truthful news, unbridled, if we are funded. So the way you can fund the movement, where I can put out the truth, if you want to hear the truth about things, and we'll present all angles from an educated perspective, then support Charles Van Morgan Unbridled News that is perpetrating truth, perpetrating voting, perpetrating government, for government. I'm for government. People think I'm anti-government. No, the people in power are anti-government. They're anti-Constitution, anti-First Amendment. I'm for the government. I'm for a good, honest, fair government. I'm for a constitutional government. They're not. I've lived it. My experience has lived it. I'm out here on the street today without medical insurance, without a lot of money, without the ability to defend you in a courtroom because of the dirty, crooked government. There are foreigners that are representing people in Tennessee courtrooms today that shouldn't be. There are foreigners in government power without a birth certificate, without a selective service registration, without coming here to the United States legally, sneaking across the border, that are in positions of government power, that are in the Tennessee Highway Patrol, that are going to tell you what happened in a wreck involving a president. Those are facts. That's the truth. Now, the government's not going to tell you that. They present the facade that they're honest, that they're fair. No, they're not. If they were honest and fair, I'd be in a courtroom right now representing you, stand on the Constitution. But they're not fair. They're not honest. They've gone rogue. They've gone crooked. And the only thing that will stop them, from continuing to abuse you and lie to you, if we vote for truth, if we look at the truth and vote these people out, go through institutional means and go through extra institutional means to give our government to the people in Tennessee. That's the only way we're going to be able to do that. It's through extra institutional means. And institutional means ain't going to work. We need to go through them to get evidence to show what they're doing in their quote unquote unconstitutional government, but it's not constitutional. They don't give you due process. So if you go through the court system, document how they don't give you due process. I've documented it. You can document it too. So, and then we need to go through extra institutional means outside of government official channels. Things that are unusual we need to do, that aren't what they expect. Not anything criminal. And we'll talk about a few of the things we can do tomorrow. So, thank all of my viewers God bless you all. Thank you for helping. The way you can help the movement is fund it. Get the Square app, get the Cash app, fund the movement so I can go all over the state reporting news with boots on the ground. I will do that. It'll be hard work, but I'll do it. But I can't do it without being funded. And I'll monetize on YouTube, but that pays about, some of my best videos make $1.20. So we're not going to be able to stay on just through the funding on YouTube. We're going to have contributions. We're going to have advertisers or public speaking engagements, or we'll be off here. So it's up to you all. If you want the movement, vote, voters of truth. Encourage, then fund the movement. And if you can't give, I understand that, hey, I couldn't give $1, right now either. I could probably give $1, and I give my time. If you can't give money, that's fine. Then spread the message to other people. The most valuable resource that we have is people. More important than money. Money just gets us more people to get the message out. So the most valuable resource they have is money. Friends calling friends can beat their bought elections. And the second most valuable resource is money. And then if you can't give, then subscribe, the highest order on here, and also share this video, the videos, and also hit the like button. That's free. So somebody just hit the like button. So hit the like button. So we got 48. Let's get to 49. Hit the like button. So if you can hit the like button, then that's helping the algorithm, spreading the message. So we got 49. Yeah, thank you. So do that. Call your friends, and that will help us get the message out to vote. So thank you all so very much for showing up. Let's see if we got any comments in here, and I'll answer the comments. Fill up a little time. They have a secret Discord together. Okay, y'all commenting amongst yourself, which is fine. Chilled his east side condo. Otherwise, I am a billionaire, idiot. Okay. Well, you need to pay your fair share of taxes. There's nothing wrong with billionaires, but they need to pay their fair share of taxes. Democrats had the files for 4 years. Why don't they open it up? So that's a distraction. In my opinion, the Epstein files, he's dead and gone. I love the poorly. Okay, Grumps gets his steps in. That's right, I do get my steps in. But I'm not Gramps. I'm not that old yet. So, Mega Kelly is Nicole Brown Simpson, okay? I don't know what that has to do. Is there a point you forgot to make? What point would that be? Maybe if I keep talking, I'll remember it, right? No, there's not a point I forgot. These old idiots need to pass on. Well, if you feel giddy, see if you can get it done. It'd be a bad thing for you to get your butt whooped by somebody older than you, wouldn't it? Trump takes listen. James Morrison, because Ruth Limbaugh. Charlie has okay. When old people get booed, that is okay. I don't. Why isn't your name listed by the Bar Association? Because I'm not a lawyer. Because they won't let me be a lawyer. Because they won't let me represent Tennesseans. That's why. Let's see. Why that judge said about wasn't defamation. Because they're exempt from defamation. They can defame you, and they can get by with it, because defamation is unprivileged false communication. So they're privileged, so they can put out false information. They can disseminate false information in the courtroom. That's not defamation. It's not covered. You can't sue a judge for defamation. They privilege themselves against it. I don't know this man, but I'm going to run into him because I see he's in Knoxville, and I like this guy because he tells the truth. They are corrupt. Any man without Christ in his life is corrupt. That's true. Thank you so very much. Who said that? That is Danny Pierce, 1426. So yeah, thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. This man is old. Yeah, you live, and let me enlighten you. If you're smart enough, you get a little older, and I'm not old. I got a long life to live. So I hate that you didn't know that you live and you get older. At 33 hours of talking. Yeah, and I'll keep talking. I'll talk as long as I want to. Yapper. 33 lies told. I haven't told any lies at all. None. Zero. Not one. Nada. People in government power have. What part of me hanging up a sign in front of the courthouse against people in government power did you think I was lying about? I mean, what part of that? Man, you make Tennessee look bad, sir. Well, you don't make Tennessee look anything because you're too chicken shit to show your picture. And I don't make Tennessee look bad. I make Tennessee look good. That's your opinion. And you can put it on here if you want to. Oh, you hurt my feelings so bad. I appreciate you. You're so smart and wonderful. I mean, give me a break. Some of you people, anyone with Christ in their life is corrupt and is an adult with imaginary friends. Grow up. Anyone with Christ in their life? Wow. That'd be a anti-Christian statement that I don't agree with that at all. Anyone Christ-like that's a follower of Jesus, the more they follow Jesus, the more uncorrupt they would be. I mean, have you ever read about Jesus? The only sinless man that ever lived, that said to love your enemies, that said to love your neighbors, that said to turn the other cheek, and you think that is corrupt? No, I think that people that lie, that allege they're followers of Jesus, that are crooked people, but people that follow Jesus are not crooked people. They're striving to be better people, and Christianity, followers of Jesus, is the way to go. Not followers of people who claim to be followers of Jesus. He was a cop for 33 years. No, wasn't he? About 18. Okay. Dirty cop, bet you millions he was dirty. No, I wasn't. Where is this? Knoxville, Tennessee. Danny, I'm so corrupt, but wait, I've been christened. Okay, Knoxville. He ran for governor 33 times. No, I ran for governor one time, and I might run again. I got to get 50 signatures, and I can run again. He needs to clean his house. Is the T on his hat for a swear word? No, it's for Tennessee. What swear word would it be? He needs 3 gallons of milk. Dude, quit. I see you every morning crying about something or lean and making normal Tennessee look bad. Well, thank you for coming on my show every morning. If I seen something I didn't like, I would avoid it. So that's real brilliant. I mean, and no, I'm not going to. You make me. Maybe don't excuse judges. Okay, every one of you is holy. He's read the Bible 33 times. You are non-existent. Yeah, okay. Where do you go with that? Thank you for commenting. Go with the Lord. That's right. He's got 33 months left. I hope not. Nobody is holy. Demons aren't real either. Yeah, they are. When did Satan forever kill his own? Okay, so we're getting a lot of stupid stuff on here. I'm not talking about a redskin. Okay, I don't know. Go down here to the bottom and read some of the. Vernon, I got my check, just the Mexico paid for the wall. He's taking screenshots of this. Yeah, I am. Here you go. Woo! Yeah, wow. Yeah, so I can read what you said later. Try to keep up with what the public sentiment is. I just realized this is pre-recorded. No, it's not. I just realized this is pre-recorded. I just read that. So if it's pre-recorded, I'm pretty damn good to know you'd say that. This guy is even live. Yeah, I am. How did it go from light to dark on live? It's got a flashlight on it. You're an adult with imaginary friends. I've never met a Christ-like person in my life. No, not completely. He's the only perfect man on earth. That's right. Did you not get your... Okay, I don't understand that. Illegals, EOs. Okay. Lots of ungodly trolls on here. That's right. Kelly 7919. That's right. There is. This isn't pre-recorded. He said about my comment about the T on his hat. That's right. It's not pre-recorded. I'm live, up close and personal. The one only Charles Van Morgan, the one they defamed, that's been in numerous pursuits, saved numerous lives, and the one the government tries to shut down, but I ain't shut down. I'm on here live, spreading a message and hoping that you all will join the movement, will join V.O.T.E. Voters of truth, get enraged about the government mistreatment. And listen to me and listen to the truth. Think for yourselves. Don't listen to what the government says. And a lot of you do, and I appreciate that. A lot of you are a lot smarter than I am. A lot of you are a heck of a lot smarter than I am. Fill out my survey. Give me your information that you know. Let me use it to help you all. And increase the people that are going to vote. So, wow, we're up to 60 views. As I beg your pardon, my grandson. Yeah, okay. Bunch of ridiculous, silly comments on here. So we're going to wrap it up for today's show. We talked about social movements and what they are. They're movements to resist or promote societal change against the existing social order. And that's what we're doing. So we'll be back on here tomorrow. Thank y'all so very much for watching. And as I always say, God loves you and I do too.